Was Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly really just a sexist pig? Let's discuss. Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So I came across an article, and there's a link in the description on marysue.com. They basically said, look, they're a big Firefly fan and they've watched it recently. They talked about how it was successful and did it still stand up today. And then they went on to discuss the failings of the show. Now, one of the points they made was that a premise of the TV series was that the Chinese and American cultures had sort of merged together when we left Earth that was, and we created this new solar system. That actually the two most dominant cultures on the planet had become the two most dominant cultures in this new society. They all spoke Chinese fluently. It was just a cheeky way to swear in Chinese, as far as I'm concerned. But also, we saw a lot of Chinese culture, writings, symbols, etc. But none of the main characters actually were Chinese. Now, this marysue.com points out that that was a problem and something that really I can't argue with. There probably should have been a Chinese character. I wonder who would have been good.
So, who's first?
And I'm not really going to hold it against Joss Whedon at this point. I don't think it was done on purpose. But she does point out the toxic masculinity of Malcolm Reynolds as another major problem.
Mercy is the mark of a great man. Guess I'm just a good man. Well, I'm all right.
In the article, it actually states, Mal is verbally abusive and unnecessarily cruel to every woman he encounters. Now, I have to go back and I have to wonder if that's actually true. It isn't. Now, the one point they use is his relationship with Anara, where he calls her a whore. And he calls her a whore quite a few times.
I supported unification.
Did you? Well, I don't suppose you're the only whore that did.
Oh, one further addendum. That's the last time you get to call me whore.
Now, in this article, it suggested that he was doing that because of Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon created the character, and Joss Whedon is toxically masculine. It actually states in the article that the truth about Joss Whedon had come out, and really the whole show is tarred with the same brush. Now, Joss Whedon has been accused of being a bully. And people like Charisma Carpenter from the Buffy series basically said, look, he bullied me, and he was casually cruel on several occasions. Apparently, when she was pregnant, at one point, he called her fat and things like this. Stories like this and articles like marysue.com do focus on a lot of the women's accusations against him. They're basically trying to link him in with the Me Too movement. And now, it's not right that anybody, a boss, talks to people like Joss Whedon has spoken to a lot of the actors. It isn't. He is a bully and he is not a pleasant guy. But he's not a sexist. I actually don't believe he's a misogynist. There were stories about him having relationships with younger actresses and things. That just means he's a man. There's never been accusations that I'm aware of that he ever actually sexually abused any of these women, just that he had relationships with them. But what about the Malcolm Reynolds character? Was he casually cruel to all of the women in his life? Was he sexually misogynistic against Kaylee? No, he treated her like a little sister. Was he towards Zoe? No, he treated her like an equal. Was he towards Christina Hendricks' character, whichever name she was picking for that episode? No, Mrs. Reynolds was his wife, kind of. And he treated her until, she poisoned him and knocked him unconscious and then tried to have him killed with respect. At no point did any of these other female characters have anything but respect from Malcolm Reynolds. In the episode where they go and they actually protect the brothel from the evil guy who's trying to steal a baby, he did nothing but show respect. He actually felt very attracted to I don't know what you call a head prostitute, a madam. I don't really know. He put his life on the line to protect those women and protect that baby. Malcolm Reynolds did have a very strong sense of honor, but he was maybe a little bit old-fashioned. But kind of that was the point, because he was supposed to be a cowboy. Now, yes, he called Inara a whore, but he also stood up and nearly got himself killed when somebody else treated her like he owned her.
I might not show respect to your job, but he didn't respect you. That's the difference. Inara, he doesn't even see you.
Well, I guess death will solve the issue to everyone's satisfaction.
Inara actually pointed out the contradiction to him, and he actually said, look, I might call you that, but he treats you like that. And that's the difference. I treat you like a person. I just hate what you do for a living. And he hated what she did for a living because he loved her. So yes, he was old-fashioned. Yes, he didn't think whoring was a respectable job, even though in this society it was. Now, in the article, it says that, look, all of this name calling, etc., was supposed to be flirty and romantic, but it never came across like that. But it did. He was flirty, he was romantic, and they did bicker. They make that point repeatedly in the movie when Inara phones Malcolm and asks for help. And afterwards, after the call, Washington was like, is this a trap? And he goes, look, did you see me and Inara argue? Well, no, exactly. Trap. So that was their dynamic. She was just as feisty as him. She gave back just as well as she got. She never ran away from the words and the names that Malcolm Reynolds was calling her, because Joss Whedon wrote it that way. So was Malcolm Reynolds a toxic misogynist? No. It was a character that was supposed to be a little old-fashioned, but was also supposed to be honourable. And he did have that sense of honour. And about Joss Whedon, I just want to add the point that James Masters, that plays Spike in Buffy, also talked about the bullying. He said at one point Joss Whedon had him up against a wall and basically told him that he was going to kill him. James Masters was asked in that interview, so what did you think about that? What do you think about Chris McCarthy's this? And James Masters said, look, the guy's a perfectionist. He was getting a lot of crap from executives above, people that were trying to ruin his story as far as he was concerned. They kept changing his story. And he was just really, really passionate about the story he was trying to tell. Yes, the way he then expressed that passion was wrong, but he was not a misogynist. He was not a sexist. He was not abusing anybody. He was just passionate about what he was doing. Now, I don't have any problem with Joss Whedon. I think the man needs anger management skills. I think he needs to calm the F down. But I don't think he deserves to be lumped in with people like Harvey Weinstein either. And Malcolm Reynolds was not a cruel, unpleasant person. He was not written that way because Joss Whedon is a cruel and unpleasant person. The MarySue.com in this case has got it completely wrong. They've completely misunderstood the character, who actually just stood up for what he believed in. He loved the crew of the Serenity like his family. You can see that in several episodes, including protecting Inara. But families sometimes argue. They bicker and they call each other names. To be honest, if they didn't, it would be weird. And that's all this was. It was a show about a family on a starship. A dysfunctional family, maybe, but still family. But guys, I'd love to know what you think. What do you think about the Malcolm Reynolds character? Did you love him? Did you hate him? Did you actually think at times he was a misogynistic pig or something else? Or toxically masculine? I don't even know how sure what that means anymore, but was he? Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. You know what to do. And also you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos premiere first, and you get to see them without the adverts. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.